Defund! 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 Defund!
Each and every single one of you here today is using your voice to stand up against injustice, against tyranny, against a violation of rights and freedoms. Millions of dollars every single year are being taken from our pockets and used to dismember, decapitate, and disembowel children in the womb, not only across our province, but across this country. And we are here to say enough is enough. We have been silent long enough. We have been ignored long enough. We are here to send a message loud and clear to our provincial government that we will no longer comply with the tyranny of forced taxpayer-funded abortion. Instead of having an honest discussion about abortion, our province is funding a medically unnecessary procedure. For $50 million a year, Ontario can hire over 200 family doctors or 400 nurses. We could purchase 20 MRI machines or provide therapy to an additional 500 autistic children. All these uses of taxpayer dollars would represent genuine areas of healthcare that are life-giving instead of life-ending. Since the birth of this campaign in 2011, we have delivered over 80,000 Defund Abortion pamphlets to the doorsteps of people across Ontario. Just this past October, 44 ridings across the province organized mini-rallies in front of their MPP constituency offices, taking this issue to the steps of their representatives so that it can no longer be ignored. Over 25,000 petitions have been signed and are being hand-delivered to MPPs after this rally to exemplify that this is an issue that Ontarians care about. This campaign has garnered media attention from every major media outlet across the province since 2011, increasing this grassroots initiative.
Mr. Joe Dixon, thank you very much for coming here to address the crowd and to receive these petitions. And I would like to officially present you with signatures from 560 constituents in your riding. We, the undersigned, petition the Legislative Assembly of Ontario as follows: to cease providing taxpayer dollars for the performance of abortions by passing legislation to remove abortion as a service covered by the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. And Mr. Dixon, we'd like to ask you to please present these to the legislature on behalf of your constituents. And if you care to say a few words, that would be wonderful. We want abortion removed from the list of services covered by OHIP. It's one thing to claim that you have the right to kill a child. It's quite another to expect the rest of us to pay for it. Now I want to address a myth, a lie, a falsehood that is often repeated by pro-abortion politicians as an excuse for why they're forcing you to pay for elective abortions. These politicians often make the false claim that either the Supreme Court of Canada or the Canada Health Act requires provinces to subsidize abortions with public money. It's a lie. So what about the Canada Health Act? What exactly does it stipulate? It says that medically necessary services must be covered by the provinces, but it does not make the claim that abortion is medically necessary. Even the depraved Pierre Trudeau government that legalized abortion in 1969 never intended for taxpayers to fund abortions. And how do we know this? Well, during a debate in 1969 on the Omnibus Bill, then Justice Minister John Turner was asked, will this bill lead to the public having to pay for abortions? And he responded with an incredulous tone. He said, "Oh no! Oh no!" So even Pierre Trudeau's Justice Minister, who brought in abortion to this country, believed that it would never result in paying for abortions. Even abortion industry leaders admit that the vast majority of abortions are not for health reasons. The former president of the Canadian Abortion Rights Action League, Marilyn Wilson, he told the House of Commons Finance Committee in 2001 that women seek abortions, quote, for socio-economic reasons. In fact, we know that today abortion is used primarily as a backup birth control method. And that's a disgrace. That's a disgrace that even people who consider themselves pro-choice find to be outrageous.
Post-abortion trauma is a serious health concern to women across Ontario and adds to the financial strain on our healthcare system. Studies have shown that a minimum of 20% of women who abort will experience post-traumatic stress disorder. On top of that, studies show that women who've had abortions experience 155% greater risk of attempted suicide. Women are killing themselves after undergoing a procedure that we are forced to pay for. Our very own College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario found that women who've had abortions are 5 times more likely to be hospitalized for psychiatric problems. If $30 to $50 million is being spent on the cost of abortion, how much more money is being used to cover the side effects that abortion has on women? Based on the 2013 report by the Mental Health Commission of Canada, we have estimated the cost to be over $500 million annually. Think of what our province could do with $500 million. We could hire more nurses, more doctors, we could buy more MRI machines. We could help eliminate wait times in emergency rooms and provide greater funding for the treatment of autistic children. We could actually fund genuine areas of healthcare that are life-giving instead of life-ending. Although defunding abortion will not make this procedure illegal, it will drastically reduce the number of abortions committed in Ontario. So if we want to save our crumbling healthcare system, if we want to save children, if we want to save women, we must continue to fight against taxpayer-funded abortion.
The idea of defunding abortion, to a certain degree, if not completely, is more popular than any of the 3 political parties who are in that building today. A recent Agnes Reid poll said that 51% of Ontarians oppose the status quo. 51%. We are the majority. We are the majority. The most popular party in there only has 35% support in this province. The most popular party only has 35%. So remember, guys, we are the majority. This is a growing movement and we cannot back down. Abortion is a medically unnecessary procedure that kills a human being. It hurts women and is a financial drain on our healthcare system. 2 years ago, we found out by an Abacus data poll commissioned by Campaign Life Coalition that 90% of Ontarians had no idea that at least $30 million go to fund abortion every single year in this province alone. We have to bring into light what is kept in darkness. Our government tries to hide stats and information from us because they know that if Ontarians were to find out that $30 to $50 million of their money goes to pay for killing innocent life, they would revolt.
My friends, we live in a province, in a nation that views murder as a constitutional right. One that justifies itself with an attitude that says, if you don't like an abortion, just don't have one and pay for mine. Ontario's Education Minister, Laurel Broughton, recently called the pro-life stance misogynistic. Misogynistic. Really? What an ignorant thing to say. Either Minister Broughton is ignorant of the meaning of the word, which alludes to being inspired by a hatred of women, or she is ignorant of how abortion affects women. Let me be clear. Abortion, my friends, is a real war on women. Abortions hurt women who undergo these evil procedures. According to Forbidden Grief, the unspoken pain of abortion, 64%, a clear majority of women who had abortions report that they felt pressured to do so by others. And as with all medical procedures, there are risks. The most common and immediate short-term risks include infection, failure to extract the fetal and placental tissues, and even women bleeding to death. But I want to say that I haven't even touched on the increased likelihood of breast cancer, premature births, ectopic pregnancies, uterine perforation, which usually lead or can lead to infertility, and the higher chance of future offspring being born prematurely with cerebral palsy and other disabilities which usually result from prematurity.
Abortion is legal in Canada throughout all 9 months of pregnancy, for any reason or for no reason at all. And as more and more news comes out across Canada and from parliamentarians, we're finding out what some of those reasons actually are. Abortion is being used as a tool by misogynists to dismember preborn children in the womb just because they're girls. Abortion is being used as eugenics to exterminate all those who are disabled, have Down syndrome, or are considered otherwise imperfect. And as the previous speaker mentioned, abortion is being used by people just to preserve their own lifestyle and just to preserve their own selfishness. This is nothing less than barbarism. And what I think we have to realize as well is that the vast majority of Canadians have no idea what abortion is, what abortion does, or what abortion looks like. Because if they actually knew what abortion was, they would not only refuse to pay for it, but they would refuse to tolerate it at all. Now, recent statistics, as the previous speaker as well mentioned, have shown that between 2000 and 2009, 491 preborn Canadians were born as the result of abortion procedures and left out to die. So apparently we're no longer just funding abortion, we're also funding infanticide. We're not just paying doctors to kill babies. We're apparently also paying them to look the other way when babies are lying on hospital beds and dying, in the very same beds that are supposed to be used for the care of people and for the healing of people. Don't let them tell you that late-term abortion is something that almost never happens. My colleague Stephanie Gray debated a late-term abortionist named Dr. Fraser Fellows at Brock University about a month and a half ago. And when she described a late-term abortion procedure, he openly admitted that this was not only something he does, but this was something that was his specialty. He lives in London, Ontario, and works in London, Ontario, and he was completely unabashed. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what our government endorses and forces us to pay for.
Number one, funding abortion is against my religious convictions, and it is against my rights and freedoms according to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We should not have to be paid for what we don't believe in. And we cannot stand to be pushed around by politicians who do not have the courage to stand as you're standing today and take a stand against this immoral act. We want our government to defund abortion.
The MPPs who are in this house know that you're here. I know they can hear you in there. They know you're here, and they'll know from the media that you are here. But there's another place where each one of you must meet them. Here they're in their own house. Back in the constituency, they're in your house. And they know that they must depend on you to get elected. That's where you must meet them. So please, make a pledge to yourself right now. When I go back to my constituency, I am going to make an appointment immediately to see my MPP and to give him the same message that we will not continue to fund the killing of unborn children. They must hear that from you. And also when you're home and you're riding, go to the all candidates meetings. We could have an election soon with this particular government. There may be an election. You need to find people to run for office, or look in the mirror and see if there's anybody in there who might be willing to step forward and take that stand. You never know, God may be calling you to do just that. And here, the funding of abortion will stop when we have enough MPPs to also find that courage.
Defund! Defund!